Hello, everyone, and welcome to my blog. This week's discussion is going to be about professional counseling skills. Stacy Lilly says a counselor should be warm, welcoming, and kind, and should create an authentic, genuine relationship with the client to ensure that the client feels safe to be vulnerable within the counseling session. We were tasked this week with watching two different videos of two different counseling sessions and just kind of going through and seeing what we thought about them. In the first session I watched, the counselor was warm and welcoming. He positioned his body in a very non-confrontational way, turned towards the client, and he leaned into the conversation. He also made good eye contact with his client. The other thing that happened is as the client spoke, the counselor nodded his head. So not only did his body language let you know that the counseling session was a relaxed place to be and a safe place to be, the nodding of the head and the good eye contact also indicated that he was actively listening to what his client was saying. The other important thing he did was he asked open-ended questions to keep the conversation flowing. Open-ended questions are vitally important in a lot of different situations. If you ask a closed-ended question, you get an answer of yes or no. So with open-ended questions, the conversation just keeps going and it allows whoever you're speaking to keep talking to you. In my current job, I am a certified child forensic interviewer. The very first thing we learned was to ask open-ended questions. What open-ended questions do is not only do they allow the conversation to keep flowing, but they actually take the control of the situation and give it back to the client or to whomever you're speaking to, when in a lot of cases, they feel very out of control with the things that are happening around them and in their lives. So giving them that control is very important, and it is vital to the relationship, and it gives them empowerment. The second video that I watched, the counselor was, he had good body language. He leaned into the client and he bladed himself, so he was towards the client. So it created a situation that he showed openness and approachability. He did, I noticed as he talked to the client, ask more closed-ended questions, which made me feel like the client was having to work in the counseling session to give the answers that maybe the counselor was looking for. It was uncomfortable for me, at least, and I would assume it would be uncomfortable for a client in that situation. He also made pretty good eye contact, but he shifted his eyes frequently as if he was uncomfortable or unsure with which direction to take that counseling session. Her body language, she was sitting in the corner of the couch, very corner of the couch, as far into that corner as she could get. Her hands were clasped in her lap, not tightly, but clasped firmly, and she was spinning a ring, fidgeting with a ring that was on her hand, which gave the indication that she was uncomfortable in that setting and in that environment. Because he did ask closed-ended questions, he had to keep asking the same questions, but in different kind of ways until she gave the answers. So it really didn't support any kind of expansion and insight into the client's feelings and thoughts. She didn't seem to gain much from that session. The first counselor was warm, genuine, empathetic, and open. And I got a sense of the counselor's theoretical orientation as he seemed to know his client and be genuinely interested in helping her progress further. The second counselor seemed uncomfortable, slightly, and not sure of where to go with the session. I would much prefer, if I was the one in the client's seat, to have the first counselor, as he made it feel safe and easy in that session. I'd like to wrap up this with James 3:17. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, accommodating, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial, and not hypocritical. Thank you for tuning into my blog. I'll see you next time.